Candyman.
And welcome to He's the DJ, She's a Rapper. I am your host, Lyndon, along with my lovely wife,
Vanessa Coleman.
And today is a very special episode because we have been talking a lot about Periscope. So now, today, we are recording our podcast live on Periscope.
Yes, we are live, and I'm a little freaked out about it because now everyone's going to see behind the scenes, but that's okay.
And for everyone, so what we're going to do during the show is at the end of the 5 tips that we're going to give, we're going to take a few questions from people. So we are going to say your name on the air and answer your question.
Yes, let me scoot over.
You're going to scoot over.
All right. That's an edit. This is what I do when we have to edit, and I don't know why, because Lyndon doesn't know I'm doing that. All right, let's start again. Here we go. All right, so today we are going to get a little bit deeper, and we are going to talk about a time where we almost separated. And the topic today is 5 tips that kept us from separating. And we want to first and foremost just start the show off by saying everyone has their own story. Everyone has a reason that they separated. And I have never walked in your shoes. You haven't walked in my shoes. So we're not saying that it's wrong to get a divorce. For some people, it's the only option. And we understand that. Right. But this podcast is all about us giving you tips from what we experienced and what worked for us. So I want to make sure we make that loud and clear.
Yeah, we are not looking down on anyone that got divorced. My mom was someone that got divorced, so I love that woman more than anything. So It happens.
Yes, it happens. And the thing is, we were super young when we got together. When I was pregnant with my son, I was 18 years old, and Tupac was still alive. That was a long time ago. We even met Tupac.
Yes, is this your segue into talking about... All right, so we will tell our...
Okay, we have to tell a really quick story because it is good and it'll lighten things up a little bit. So we met Tupac, okay? I am pregnant, right? You tell a story, you tell it better.
Is this Universal or the sandwiches?
Universal. Oh, no, the sandwiches.
Yes.
The sandwiches, okay.
Okay, so we've mentioned this on our previous podcast, but you guys are new, so we're gonna tell you anyway. So back in 2000-ish, actually the late 90s, Vanessa and I went to a concert called The Jam for Peace, and basically it was the hottest hip-hop artists of that time that played from 11 a.m. till midnight, and a lot of thugs and a lot of gangsters there, and we were having a blast. So
yes.
Right before the biggest act came on, these guys started fighting, and they closed the concert down. So I told Vanessa, I said, we need to go. These people are about to act a fool.
And I'm not from the ghetto like Lyndon. Like, I'm from a little cute suburb in California.
And I'm not from the ghetto.
I was scared. You're a little bit from the ghetto.
No.
Just a little bit. Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, so it was a long walk before we got down to the parking lot. And so as we were walking, with hundreds of people, a limousine pulls up next to me, and out pops Aaron Hall and Tupac out of the sunroof. And Tupac,
don't do hand motions.
I happened to be right next to the limo, and Tupac looked at me, and he says, "Hey, homie, would you like a sandwich?" And I don't really do sandwiches.
Call it a sandwich.
Yeah, sandwiches isn't my thing, and
I did a little bit of sandwiches, but I got over that part.
When did you do that?
Way back.
Okay, you didn't do it that night.
That was before Jesus.
Okay, so anyway, so I decided to pass on the sandwich, and he ended up passing the sandwich around to everybody, and everyone got high off the sandwich. It tasted so good.
Oh, it was a good, yeah. But we did not touch the sandwich.
We did not have the sandwich.
And then what did we hear after the sandwich?
So then Tupac goes back into his sunroof, and they slowly drive away. Shortly after that, we hear gunshots. Bah, bah, bah. So I look over to protect my, at the time, girlfriend, and she was gone. Nowhere in sight.
And I was running in zigzags, because I don't know if anybody's seen that Oprah show, but you have to run in zigzags so they can't catch you. And I literally jumped over a car. I cannot believe that. So that is the power of what fear can do.
So yeah, so I look ahead of me, and my wife has left me behind, and she's running in zigzags,
yes,
hopping over cars, and by the time I caught up to her, she was hiding behind a tire.
Yes.
So I realized this was true love.
Yes, that's when he knew he was in love. So that just shows you how young we were. We started extremely young. We talk about having 2 marriages. The first 12 years, I'm so bad with numbers, but the first 12 years, we didn't quite know how to be married. We didn't know how to communicate. I feel like I was angry most of the time in my 12 years. I was jealous, and I was controlling, and I was a big nagger.
So we are going to get to the 5 things we did to prevent a separation, because it got ugly.
Yeah. So we hit a time in our marriage where we had something very traumatic happen in our marriage. And I'm going to tell you, we're not going to get into details what exactly happened, but it hit our marriage hard. And I know that I feel like I can say this with confidence, that I think 95% of couples, if this would have happened in their marriage, they would have divorced.
Yes.
And it's funny because I had an epiphany today thinking about this. But when it happened, I didn't think that I wanted to divorce. I knew I didn't want to divorce. I'm going to tell you what made me want to separate, and it's the journey. It was the work to build our relationship up. That was hell. That was the hell part, because I knew I wanted to be with him, and I kept my why, and my why was my 3 kids. I needed to try for them. I needed to give it everything I had for them, because they didn't deserve to have their parents just split apart like that. But I'm going to say this very carefully, because I know there's marriages that
very clearly,
and very, very clearly, that the only reason I kept going is because me and Lyndon made a decision that, okay, if we are going to fight for this marriage, then we are not going to scream and yell in front of these kids, because they don't deserve that. If we're going to try, we're really going to try. So we would, at times when we would start to argue more, they heard us argue, which that's a whole other episode. And I think we have that. But when we got really irritated with each other, we would leave the house. We would go talk to our pastor. We would go talk to our friends. And that was one thing that we made sure we did, because I lived in a house with parents that fought every single day, and that, you know what? A fantasy of mine was that they would get a divorce, because I didn't want to hear fighting every day. But anyways, let's go on to the 5 tips. So these are the 5 tips that kept us from separating. And you want to start on number 1?
I think I will start with number 1. I'm loving the comments coming in. I'm not supposed to read them, but I just saw someone said that they started going through a separation, and then they ended up deciding to work it out, which is amazing.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Awesome.
All right, go
okay,
ahead.
So number 1, the first thing we did, and these are in no particular order except for the last one, it's the most important. But number 1 is we started dating again. So we went from, this is the best way I look at it. When you hang out with your friends, do you guys take naps and argue and then take care of each other's kids? Or do you guys go out and have fun? This is my best friend. My wife is my best friend. So we had to get back to that point where we started dating and going out and having fun together.
Yeah. And when we say dating, we dated in the old marriage, but we didn't know how to date. We went to movies. We did what you thought we were supposed to do. Or we went on group dates with a bunch of people. We did not know how to date. We would, be very distracted. So when I say dating, we mean phones off, no distractions. We don't believe in movies as dating unless you're going to dinner first or after. So dating is huge. It's huge. Date night is non-negotiable. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right, number 2.
And number 2, we read books on becoming a better husband and a better wife. So as smart as you are, you don't know everything. And continued education, no matter what business you're in,
yes.
When it comes to marriage, when it comes to anything, there's always books that you can read to become better. So that's what we did.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. I have to tell you that it took Lyndon, and you know what? This may go for some of you out there in Periscope land and podcast land. I'm going to edit that. I don't like that. Okay. So I have to say that it took us going through a really awful time for Lyndon to feel that he was going to lose me and he was going to lose his family. And he listened to everything our pastor told him to do. So our pastor gave him this book. Let me say this book again.
You're getting ahead.
Oh, no. I'm not at the pastor part yet.
You just said pastor. You're at the pastor part.
No, but I'm talking about my pastor because he has to do with the book.
Okay.
All right. Don't interrupt. Don't get all excited about interrupting me.
You can't look. See, she can't look away from the mic. Can you guys tell her she can't look away from the mic?
It drives him crazy. He wants to do that. It's so hard because I'm Latin and I use my hands.
And it messes up the sound.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay, so...
No. I want to make my point. All right. So it took something traumatic to happen to us for Lyndon to actually start reading a book. And I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm saying he would read books that had to do with maybe making it more in business, personal development. Yeah. But when it came to marriage, he didn't until he felt that he was going to lose us and the kids. So the book that he read, and I'm telling you 5 love languages. And if he only knew, are you going to say it? Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Completely. Okay. So, the first book that I read was a book called If Only He Knew. and it says, What No Woman Can Resist. A great book about things that... Why are you laughing?
Because Tiffany.
I know. A great book about things that women really want us men to know, and things that they say that we just don't believe are true are all in this book, and it's been proven.
Yes.
So...
Yes, it was, I'm sorry, I get really excited and I totally became a bulldozer, and I know, but that book changed our marriage. And the reason it changed our marriage is because one of the things in that book is that for the husband to take his wife's intuition seriously. And before that book, when I would tell Lyndon, you know what, I don't have a good feeling about this. You know, I don't really think you should take that job, or I don't like the neighborhood really, or just little things I would say, and he would ask me, well, why don't you like it? And in my heart, I was thinking, because I can't place it. And women, you understand, we have this intuition. And he didn't take me seriously. I am not exaggerating. The moment after he ended that book, my life changed as far as that came. I mean, every time I told Lennon, I have a feeling about something, I don't think we should do it, he completely respects me. So that's what I want to say. I get so excited about that book.
It's a perfect fact. Okay, so are we going on to number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3, we started hanging out with healthy flavor couples.
We call them flavor couples.
Couples that are doing what we want to do. Couples that are being what we want to be. Couples that are lifting us up and not dragging us down. So you become the 5 people that you hang around with most. And we were hanging around with 6 pretty bad people that we were the best of the 6, but we were still bad. Mm-hmm. So we had to separate ourselves from them and find other couples that we could hang out with that would lift us.
Hashtag healthy flavor couples. I love that. That's exactly it. And also, I know you hear that a lot. Be careful of the people you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
But they could make or break a marriage, because we went through a short season where we hung around couples that were not so much our flavor. They were not our tapatio and chipotle sauce. Huh?
Yes.
They were not our flavor. And they actually dragged us down. And things I would say that were not good towards my husband, I actually had people around me that would encourage me to bash my husband, and would tell me that certain feelings of wanting to leave him, that was normal and it was okay and we should take a break. So that can be really dangerous, especially if you're in a very, you're already very sensitive. You're in what am I saying? You're already very vulnerable.
Yes.
So please be careful with that. Look at the couples you're hanging out with.
All right. And number 4, we started praying together. Doesn't seem like a big deal, mm-hmm. but when you guys pray together and you open up, sometimes things just come out that you didn't know were in you. And you know, when it's you and God and your wife or your husband, it's a very intimate thing, and emotions and things come out. So that just automatically started bringing us closer. Yeah,
the prayer is huge. And I want to remind people, you just be yourself when you pray. God wants you to be you. He loves you. One of my pet peeves is when people look at God as this angry God, as a condemning God. I don't look at God like that. He's my Father. He loves me. He's proud of me. The way I look at God is I have to compare it to how I feel about my kids. I love my kids more than anything in this world, except for my husband. But I love my kids so much. And they may do things that will disappoint me or irritate me, but they can never lose my love. And exactly. I love them and I'm proud of them. So just remember, when you're praying with your spouse to your heavenly Father, do you know how happy that makes him? He doesn't care about the words you say. He just wants to hear your heart. So I know that when me and Lennon started doing this, there were a lot of tears. It was really hard at first. But just do it. It's just going to bring you guys closer together.
Yes. Mama Fit just said, I didn't get the whole name. Mama Fit just said, God has to be part of your marriage. I love that.
God's love is unconditional.
Marnie.
God is your biggest cheerleader. I love that.
Great. Tiffany, Coach Glitter, this is a crowd of like-minded, awesome people.
I love that.
I'm feeling this.
I'm loving Periscope. I'm telling you, I'm addicted.
Okay, so we are going to number 5. This is the most important one. Number 5. We got counseling and we started attending church regularly. So let me clarify. Started to attend church regularly doesn't mean we just went to church every Sunday. That's not attending regularly. Attending regularly is taking in the word and taking action on the things that you're learning.
Yes. Counseling we made it last because it is probably the most important. If you are struggling in your marriage you know what? You don't even have to be struggling so much. Counseling, therapy is what everyone needs. We are not your therapist. Not even the church is your therapist. It's part of healing. but you need to find help. You need to get help, and you're going to realize your marriage is going to grow so much from that, because there's a lot of things that were going on in me that came from my childhood, and I started to realize why I was acting a certain way as a wife towards Lennon, and there were certain blocks that I had in my head that were preventing me from giving Lyndon all of me, if that makes any sense. And I learned that through therapy. I learned who I was through therapy, and I had so many aha moments, and we had a lot of breakthroughs, and that really helped us. And one more thing, the church thing, we're big believers on finding a family church, finding a church that you can go to every single Sunday. The reason is that's how we found a lot of our flavor couples, and the couples. We have a couple that, because of them, we started our boot camp because of their encouragement. We have another couple, we ended up getting our studio because of their encouragement, and couples that we were able to call at midnight that were there for us, and we met them all through church.
Yeah. Church is a big building full of unperfect people that are trying to better their lives and the lives around everyone else. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, that was good, love.
Thank you.
I like that one. But those are our 5 tips on, what is it? Hold on.
5 things.
I always do that when we need to edit.
Yeah, she always
I don't know
does
why.
the limbo.
He's the editor, and we don't want to get started on that, Coach Glitter,
Yes.
but he is the editor, and so he sees me when I do this, so I feel like he'll know.
And
Right.
yeah, Coach Glitter, you already promised, so it's on. We just got to make a date.
Okay. So those are our 5 tips that kept us from separating, and I hope they help you. Like we said before, this is our story. This is what helped us, and these are, 5 things we continue to do.
This is our story, and ain't no one going to tell it for me. All right, I'm not
I
going
thought you were going to go on.
I was,
All right.
but that was not a good rap.
Okay, so speaking of Periscope, we are doing a challenge right now. Oh, Lennon does not like it when I call it a challenge. Hold on. So because we're on Periscope, I'm just going to bring this up. If you do not know what Periscope is, it is an app, and it's live streaming, and it is so flippin' addicting. I can't take it. I've never been addicted to anything like this in my entire life except caffeine.
Crackscope.
So caffeine and Periscope, and I'm gone for the rest of the day. But we want you to look us up, Lyndon and Vanessa. It'll all be in the show notes. But we are doing 30 days of pray and play. And to you don't have to go on Periscope to do it, but we would love to have you on there so we can interact with you. And we just want you to go to djandrapper.com, go to pray and play, and we will send you an email a day. It's going to be
30 days.
1 prayer for your spouse, and then 1 plaything that you do. That sounds funny.
I know.
Plaything.
Okay, so for you Periscopers that are still with us, do you have any questions, any comments that we can read on air?
Oh, wait, I have to end.
No, we'll go back.
Oh, we'll go back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, do you have any questions, any comments? We are love to, for real, just the truth.
Brandon said to recap, and normally, Brandon, I would, but since we're recording the podcast, I'm not going to recap yet.
Yeah, so make sure you watch the replay. Definitely go to church, praying for each other, sharing, and reading the Bible together during the week.
Tanika. Thank you, Tanika.
I love that. Janelle Wood, my son has the Captain America shirt. Jeff Johnson, how do you keep the wife happy in romance?
Ooh. Oh, what's
How
up,
the
Jeff?
heck do you guys do everything together? Okay, Jeff.
The way I keep the wife happy, I can't say in details, but I will tell you that I'm constantly reading and educating myself.
Thank you.
So I don't get so confused.
Irene! I'm sorry, I got excited.
Yeah, you two are adorable. Thank you. I had
You're
to read
adorable,
that one.
Irene.
Tiffany, Coach Glitter.
Shalene.
You know what, Shalene? I'm going to do that at the end, thinking of a master plan.
Shalene, you know what? He was going to do it in the beginning, and I told him to save it for the end.
So
It's coming.
Coach Glitter said, how do we do everything together?
Okay.
Because we have to, so we figured out a way to make it work.
Wow.
Okay.
No, honestly, that's true. I know it seems really simple. It's not simple. And I have to tell you, we have to work at it every day. Let's be real. We had a little argument before this started because we needed to get it all set up. We were both very nervous. And do you know what we did? We both took a deep breath and we're like, okay, look what's happening. We're getting all flustered and we're about to talk about marriage. So we held hands, we did a prayer, and we just talked to each other about what we were scared about because really the frustration was coming out of fear. And this is what we do. We have to learn every single day and have to just talk and communicate.
Yes.
Wait, I want to answer the how does he keep me happy?
Oh, go ahead.
What was that question?
Yeah.
You know what he does? He listens to me and he knows what I like. That's it. I wish I
Okay,
was
I'm
holding
digging
the
it.
mic. and I
Such
could
an
just drop
inspiration.
it.
Thank you. Marriage is one of the hardest, but more one of the rewarding things you will ever do.
Yes, absolutely. And
nothing easy is worth having.
Oh my gosh. Irene asked, what does my shirt say? Fight for it. That is our theme. Fight
Always
for
hold
it.
hands when you argue. That, you know what? I'm writing that down.
Oh
Always
my
hold hands when you
goodness.
argue. I like that.
Ryan and I look at each other and we do this shake where we shake it all out and move forward. I love that. That's a good idea.
How do you get a guy that isn't open to this kind of thing to try?
That's a good question.
Be proof that it works. So if you are walking around with an attitude and a stink face and you're telling him, this is what I do, why don't you do this? Why is he going to want to do that if you have the wrong attitude? Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that your attitude is up and you're smiling and you're happy, because that's going to be contagious, and then he's going to want some of what you have. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
be the example.
I love the way that you're positioned stealing this for tonight. Totally. And look at this is, can I just tell you, Lyndon is living part of a childhood fantasy. He is actually an MC.
All right, then I'm going to do it.
Here we go. Here's the
Thinking
rap.
of a master plan, because ain't nothing but sweat inside my hands. So I dig into my pocket, all my money is spent, and I dig deeper and keep coming up with lint. So I start my mission, leave my residence, thinking how I'm going to get some dead presidents. I need money. I used to be a stick-up kid, so I think of all the devious things I did. Bam! There you go.
Bam! See, if only you could drop it, but you can't.
Yeah, I can't afford another one.
Be Jesus in front of your partner. That's beautiful.
Ooh,
I like
hard.
that.
That's hard.
Walking down the street whiskey.
All right, guys.
So thank you guys so much, and I just want to share with you guys. This is just something that we discovered. We didn't know that we wanted to do this. We watch a lot of scopes because I have a problem, and it's called, what is it? Scope crack that I call it.
Yeah, crack scope.
I have a problem. I need to.
Twitches.
I have to take the phone away from me and put it on airplane mode. But I've been watching a lot of scopes, and I've noticed a lot of people are really afraid. They don't need my mic.
No, I'm still
recording. We're still on
Oh
my gosh, we're still on the show. But I noticed that a lot of people are afraid. They're like, I don't have anything to talk about. I don't know what to do. I didn't know that this is what we were experts in. Oh my gosh,
yes,
love.
Thank you.
I didn't know that we were experts in this. It took brainstorming. It took academies, Marketing Impact Academy. And I'm not just saying that. It's the truth. Marketing Impact Academy by Shalene Johnson. It took really digging deep and going, okay, what are we? And we just kind of figured it out. And we're like, this is what we love. This is our passion. So don't think, you all have something special to share.
I know, Jessica said, I know.